I used to have several sites. Now I kind of like the grower's edge. It gives me that cash max. You can tell it which markets you're looking for, and it will tell you what your highest net back is based on the price they're paying at that time and the basis that they're paying. And that's pretty handy because I don't have to go to so many different sites.
Good afternoon, welcome to GrainTV. My name is Cody Bills, this is Logan Burgess. Today is July 2nd. We had the market here stabilizing a bit with corn for September trading down 3 3/4, soybeans for August trading down 13, and wheat in Chicago trading up 3 cents here. And of course that's for the September contract. Logan, we did have ethanol production numbers here. What did that do to support the market?
You know, once again we saw a very strong weekly figure here from the EIA. As you can see here from this chart, red lines here are the weekly production values, black lines what we saw last week. Last week, ethanol production in the U.S. averaged 953,000 barrels per day. That was about the 5th strongest week that we've seen so far this marketing year. And based on these strong production numbers that we've seen here over the last month or so, as you can see from this chart, we're starting to really rebuild ethanol stocks in a way that we haven't seen since about March 2013. So typically we do see ethanol production slow down at this time in the marketing year, and especially in an environment where we have growing ethanol stocks. It wouldn't be surprising if we did see a little bit of a slowdown here on a weekly basis, but the bottom line is right now when we're looking out in the cash market, ethanol producers still remain very competitive bidders of old crop corn. If you still have old crop corn to sell and you're looking to sweep the bin, you can give the office a call here. We can help look in your local cash market, see if there's an ethanol facility that may be outside of your normal marketing area that is providing a premium bid here at this time. So that's what we're kind of seeing here in terms of usage on the domestic front. Cody, today we did have some very important stories though on the export front to talk about. Can you kind of break down what we saw there, some important news for both corn and wheat?
Sure. First of all, there was two different topics I think that came up here today, and I think they're going to be important topics as we move throughout the summer. Not necessarily something that drives price movement right now, but something that we want to continue to monitor as we move throughout the growing season. The first is in regards to Ukraine. They basically had a situation where their currency has devalued 30% since the beginning of this economic crisis over there. This is going to have an impact on production. This is going to have an impact on exports. Right now there's expectations here that they may see exports decline by as much as 22%. What that means in terms of overall grains exported in that region is we could see 6.3 to 7.3 million metric tons here not exported onto the global market. What that means is that on average here, this is going to be a relatively bullish story for U.S. exports. Now, with that being said, we also have a bearish piece of news. Now let's talk a little bit about China. China has a stockpiling program. Right now, that stockpiling program accounts for nearly half of global stocks for corn. The bottom line here is that this is very expensive for China. It looks as though it costs about 221 billion yuan here to maintain those. Very expensive. It doesn't seem to be working the way they want it, and it looks as though there's going to be policy revisions. Those policy revisions could come down the line here the later part of this year to possibly next year. And what that means in general is that this is going to be negatively impacting the price of corn here. They really have had a significant, we've seen rejections here of U.S. imports. About 1.25 million metric tons of U.S. corn has been rejected since November. We've seen DDGs being rejected due to unapproved GMO strains. The bottom line here is they don't want any more corn in the country. They have a lot to deal with right now. So this is a very bearish story here for the market going forward, particularly for corn.
Yeah, you know, when you're looking at this corn market right now, which continues to slide, I really feel like when we're going to find a bottom is when we see demand return in a meaningful way to this market. We do have growing ending stocks here coming up into the new marketing year, so we are going to have to see demand by way of ethanol, by way of export sales, by way of feed here on this corn market to really signal that we're ready to start moving higher. In today's action, not a lot for corn bulls to hold on to. Seemed like we just kind of have a drifting market lower, and as you said, Cody, that story out of China isn't going to really push sellers in today's trade, but certainly not the kind of trade story that you want to see if you're looking for a bottom in the corn market.
Absolutely, and keep keep in mind here too that right now, according to our models, we're running about 154 million bushels ahead of pace to meet USDA expectations for this marketing year. And in this marketing year, we have exported about 42% less corn to China than last year. So the bottom line is the demand is picking up globally, not necessarily in China though. So it's strong global demand, and obviously you don't want to hear this massive demand center kind of shutting the doors to corn. That's not bullish by any means, but I don't think it's going to sink the corn market.
Yeah, well, tomorrow we will get some indications about foreign demand for U.S. corn, soybeans, and wheat. We'll be getting the export sales report out. That's out at 7:30 Central Time. We'll be tweeting about that report as it comes out on Twitter. You can find us at GrainTV is our handle over there. Expectations for the report: 300 to 450,000 metric tons of wheat expected sold. We got corn coming in at 200 to 350,000 metric tons, and expectations are for no soybean sales to 150,000 metric tons on the old crop. There is going to be a little bit of less focus on the soybean sale number than we've seen in past weeks. We did have the USDA coming out with higher than expected June 1st quarterly stocks of soybeans. So when you're looking at the old crop soybean scenario, we do have a little bit more breathing room than we did prior to Monday's report. As a result, I wouldn't expect an exceptionally strong move if we get large export sales, although considering the price action from Monday, the market arguably is due for a snapback, specifically when you're looking at the July, August, and September soybean contracts. So keep an eye on that. As I said, follow us on Twitter if you want live updates about the export sales report. At GrainTV is where you can find us. Thanks a lot for joining us here on a Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow for the export sales report.